Hello, thank you for joining. I'm Jannarone, editor-in-chief of IPO Edge, Corp Gov, and Exec Edge. I'm here with GJ Hart, gentleman I've actually met before from his Torchies days. GJ, thank you for joining me here in Orlando, Florida at the ICR 2023 conference.
Thanks, John. Good to be with you again.
All right. So we're going to talk about Red Robin, where GJ has joined as CEO. He's been on the board for a few years as well. He's got a very extensive history in the restaurant industry. I just want to tell everyone a bit about that, some of your experiences, what led you to take interest in Red Robin.
Sure. Well, I've been in the restaurant business a long time. If I go back to my Texas Roadhouse days, I really grew to admire Red Robin back. And in fact, Red Robin went public before we did. Actually, we were the first kind of casual diner coming out during that era of the IPO era when it opened up. And so we studied Red Robin a lot. And candidly, you know, when you think back in my history of Red Robin was best in class in so many things back in the day. A great brand, family experience, great food hospitality, great value. And so, you know, for me, I just believe that this brand deserves that opportunity to be sort of comeback story relative to how great it has been.
Great. So let's talk about the big news here. A couple of important announcements came out. You announced a North Star plan. You also announced some pretty strong results for the fourth quarter, positive comps. So maybe we'll start with that. Tell us about the fourth quarter, and then let's dig into the plan a little bit.
Well, look, you know, I've only been with the company 4 months, so they're just getting started, and the company had been doing some good things. And, you know, as a comeback year in 22 from a comp perspective, they've done pretty well relative to some of the competitors. In terms of going forward, you know, laying out the North Star plan is really my plan to get everyone aligned in the organization to get behind where we're going, why we're going, and really make this happen and bring this brand, we'd like to see as a comeback.
Great. And when we look at the 5 points in that plan, can we talk about a couple of those?
Sure. Well, look, I'm excited, first of all, because, you know, when you think about the power of a 5-decade iconic brand like Red Robin, it's really cool. And I shared here at ICR just in terms of how our business, how our top restaurant operators are doing extremely well. And it's really some of the moves that have done relative to management turnover and training and things like that we need to focus on, because our best restaurants are running 38% better comps than our bottom. So I've never seen anything like that. It just shows the power of the brand. So that's exciting and what we can do. So in the 5-star plan, the first part is we need to be an operations-driven company, meaning we need to be focused on that single unit operator who makes it happen day in and day out. Let their voice be heard. They have a seat at the table, and every decision is to support those operators. And that plan is super important. The second part of that is we are looking to compensate our frontline operators for their success and to really be business people, not necessarily just great restaurant operators. And so if we do that, I think in all the work that I've done studying the history of the brand, I believe that will really gain some momentum around the overall experience, not only for the team member, but for the guests. So that's the first part of the plan. The second part of the plan is around the guest experience. And first and foremost is we say every building we have gourmet burgers. And the reality is I challenged our teams, like, hey, we do a great job dressing burgers, innovation around burgers, and the creativity is all there. But are we doing the best job cooking the burger itself?
Yeah.
And so, and the answer is we can improve. The times have changed. And so this whole idea of going back to real cooking on a flat top versus a more of a belt-driven cooking procedure, to me, that helps define the menu. And I think that's what the guests expect. Besides the fact that it's going to be 20% bigger and all these other type of things, attributes. And so that's the change that we're going to make to the guests. We're looking at our service model to go back to a hybrid, more traditional service model where a server has, you know, fewer tables and table sections, things like that. Then we're also looking at the menu and refreshing and you know, things like our appetizers. We have we're also looking in the history of it. Having more entrees will be really good for the brand. So we're looking, and the flat tops will help initiate that. And so we're looking at that. We're looking at bringing, back to the brand some fresh cues around things like chicken, and other things like that. So I think all those things will be noticed, and I think that will help the business.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say the third part of the plan is we're taking a look and being smart with our overall costs. And it's not about cost cutting, it's about being effective. So we've already identified quite a few levers that we can pull, whether it's in the supply chain, distribution, all those type of things. And so that's a piece of being prudent and also starting to trim. When a company evolves over time, you get more bureaucracy and more things. And so, different leaders from different packages of software, accounting packages, and all those things come with a cost, and being really responsible around taking a look at those and see what we can cut out. And that makes sense, right? It's not about anything other than being good business people. And then the fourth piece is from a marketing point of view. It's just redirecting to be this Red Robin, in my opinion, has born and grown in 5 decades to be a community brand. We're going to go back to being a community brand where we go back to supporting communities and being there for those communities. And I think that is going to be great because that word of mouth will spread very, very quickly. And so some of that money that we will redirect from a marketing and experience perspective. And so you'll see overall that we're going to redirect our loyalty platform to really reward our most loyal guests and not just be more of a discount to our new guests or our new loyalty members. And so we have over 11.3 members now. 1 million members, and that's a lot. So we've got a lot of work to communicate and use that to our advantage, but really reward our, those loyal guests that are stuck with us. So that's the fourth part of the plan. And the last part is, build back our economic model. So margin expansion from where we are, and granted, it's been a very abnormal couple of years, but we think we can build that back up. And then the second part of that is we want to build back credibility back to the investment community and our shareholders who will stick with us. And we need to be able to deliver what we say we're going to deliver. In fact, we want to deliver. So we want to be prudent, transparent, and do as good a job as we can to communicate to this way. So that's our 5-point plan. And I'll tell you, our franchise partners, our team members are excited, and it's been really rewarding to see that people have lined up behind us, and now we've got to go get it done.
Great. You made me think of something when you talked about having servers, maybe not taking on as many tables. Something that I've been talking about with a few companies here at the conference is the use of technology in the restaurant industry. And a question I ask is, some people maybe don't want too much technology. They want human contact when they're making orders and that sort of thing. So do you have a philosophy on that? I mean, I've been to a restaurant and I'm telling you, sit down and my friends say, I don't want to order off my iPhone. I want to talk to someone. What do you think about that?
Generally, particularly in casual dining, I think that human interaction is important. However, if you think about this for a minute, let's take a loyal guest shows up. You want to be able to, if you could use technology to say, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, thanks for coming in. Last time you had this, or, you were in 2 weeks ago. That's the way it helps enhance that experience. And I think casual dining, as we go through these economic times and this uncertainty, I think if you're executing casual, people want to be together. So I think technology can enable those things, but it shouldn't dictate those things. And so, we're really thinking about it that way. And I think that's the right way to think about it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I've been asking a lot of folks this question, and that's a good answer. GJ, there's something else I wanted to ask you about. A way to monetize the real estate. You talked about that in an announcement you guys just put out. Can you tell me a little bit more?
Look, we're exploring. We have 35 owned properties. We're exploring sort of how to monetize those. And quite frankly, as we said, we're really exploring it and seeing what might we do with those proceeds. Possibly pay down some debt, reinvest in the business with the 5-point star plan, being a part of that, as well as potentially buying back stock. So there's all those things. We haven't made those decisions yet, but I think it is a prudent thing for this company to consider given where it is at this time.
Great. That makes a lot of sense. Now, tell me about COVID a little bit. Now, I realize that Well, let's see. I guess you were a board director straight, all the way through COVID. So you've been watching the impact on Red Robin the whole time. Just tell me about, your takeaways from that. How did you guys manage? I mean, it was tough for everyone. It was a very sad time. The restaurants were shut, at least where I live, for several months. Hopefully that's behind you, but just tell me what your perspective on that
Hopefully
is.
it's right. You never know what's going on in the world, but look, COVID was difficult. In the case of Red Robin, it's particularly difficult because Red Robin, if you think about the lobby areas of Red Robin, and it's nice for the family and having fun and all those elements, but to do third-party pickup, to make pickup easy was challenging.
Yeah,
I have to give credit to the management team for being creative and moving as quickly as they did to be able to open back up, at least in that manner, through COVID. And yeah, I think Red Robin had a particularly challenging versus others who had some ability to think about it. And actually, a lot of those units were built since Red Robin had been in most of their restaurants. So I would say that the company's done a really good job through it, and we've learned a lot. And now we're much better set up to do third party and quite frankly, it's close to 50%.
oh, wow. So your off premises has increased dramatically and it seems to be hanging up there at a higher level.
Well, but what's happening now, what we're finding is we're seeing more in restaurant dining come back. So we'll see that maybe reducing some. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, we're almost out of time here. I want to ask you though. It's an exciting year ahead because it'll be your first full year as CEO. You got a lot of stuff we just went through, but is there one thing that you're most excited about, looking forward to seeing happen this year?
Look, if it's one thing is making our 5-star and North Star plan come to reality and making sequential improvement, it will. Look, these things take some time, and really getting teams behind it. It's exciting that we've got a lot of great people in this company, and they want to do this, and they deserve to do it. So I'm really excited about leading the team, and that they're on step. That's exciting.
All right. Well, GJ, it's always good to see you. Thanks so much for coming back to join us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thanks.